let's flip a coin. Heads Carolina, tails California.
Okay, this is a really good question. A. Hart asked, is the AIDS a problem in Ghana and Togo? And I would say almost zero. Okay? Which is absolutely opposite of what you think. I know that. You think that everybody in Africa has AIDS. Yes. One country, South Africa, which speaks English, where all the tourists go, has maybe a 20%. Zimbabwe, maybe 20%. All the other 53 countries, there's 53 countries, you got one country that makes the whole place look bad. But it's nice and easy for the AIDS people to group it all together and say Africa has AIDS. What is great, absolutely great about Africa is that if you're going to have sex with a girl, look at some of my videos, and I got to be careful if I make it a video. I leave a condom sitting on the table. Why do I do that? Is if a girl comes over, a friend of mine, they won't even sit down in the room until they see a condom. Because they have been brainwashed that they have AIDS so much. They'll tell you they have AIDS, and you can't even find a person here. I asked my friend Baroon. I said, Baroon, she's a female, you know anybody that died from AIDS? No. You know anybody that died from corruption? She goes, why do you want to know? She knows people that got killed because of corruption. She don't know anybody that died of AIDS. And I have people tell me, go in the hospitals. Well, I go in the hospitals. I go anywhere. There's just no AIDS here. But, I mean, when I dated Bob, first thing she says is, we need to get an AIDS test. We got an AIDS test in Cape Coast, Ghana. I didn't have AIDS. She didn't have an AIDS. It's really easy to do. And whatever you do, do this. I got an AIDS test in America. I get AIDS test in Ecuador. I haven't had an AIDS test now for about 6 months, 8 months, a year. I don't know. But I'm not worried in Togo. It's got less than a 2% AIDS, and you know they really don't do a census here, so we really don't know. Ghana, I think, is worse than here because how do you explain it? I believe Accra. I believe in Lomé. When you have, okay, gay sex is, as I understand it, we don't want to talk about, these guys are married and they're having sex and they're putting the penis into the ass of another man. And inside the ass, the skin inside there is only like 2 micrometers thick, while in the vagina is 10, so it's thicker. In the vagina, it was made for this. And so the tears and the rips and stuff of anal sex is high. Drug use, these are big city things, right? Intravenous things. Transfer of blood between a female and thing. Bottom line is, no girl in Africa is gonna, in Togo or Ghana, is really gonna have sex with you, or Cote d'Ivoire, or most of these countries, is gonna have sex with you without a condom, because they're afraid of AIDS. And the fear of AIDS has made the AIDS issue here not a problem. They are so afraid, and they've been told 2 things. They've been told they have AIDS, and they've been told they're poor, that they believe it. I mean, when you're told every day of your life you're poor, I said, you're not poor, guys, you're rich. These guys are unbelievably fat and rich, and there's no human density here. I mean, so there's a lot of living space and a lot of stuff, and the quality of life is really high. The problem is they're black and it's dusty. Dusty is easy to make into a horrible looking place. Black people, in the subconscious mind of the white people, black is bad. Even the subconscious mind of Obama, black is bad. In the subconscious mind of all the blacks in America, they want nothing to do with Africa because black is bad. But we don't verbalize this. And when you come here, you finally realize, hey, they're just normal people. It's just a different culture. These guys are actually civilized. It's the American blacks that are not. The worst thing that ever happened to Africa is the black man in America. The belief in how they act is transferred to Africa. Okay, she says, Hart says, do the test. That's not going to prevent AIDS. Sort of I don't know. Does she want to have sex with me? He or she? I don't know. Hart. I don't know. I don't understand why they always say do the test. I mean, obviously, if you're going to have a non, you're not going to use preservatives. You need to do a test, and that's what Ba wanted to do, because she was bound and determined she was going to have a baby with me, because her social status would go up, right? If she has a white baby, her social status goes up. She was really painful because she refused the condom thing. Tough. It's tough not to have a baby. I succeeded. Okay. If you're going to have non-protected sex, yeah, you need an AIDS test. And you need it prior to doing the thing. Doing a test is not a prevention. It's just knowing that you have it, I guess, if you had it. It really doesn't mean, but it's not a prevention. Okay, the bottom line is, and I respect this, the only country I know on the planet that has any brains about AIDS is Ethiopia. I was in Ethiopia, and the president of the country had arranged with the Peace Corps to go around with villages and do AIDS tests. And what he was going to do, he was going to test the whole country, and anybody that had AIDS, he was going to treat. And basically, you could see that if you know everybody that had AIDS, you can get rid of AIDS real easy. And if they really wanted to get rid of AIDS, they would test every single person on the planet. But Ethiopia is the only country where I know they have a brain, and the guy tested it. Now, what was funny is the Peace Corps guys had no brain. I said, okay, how many people in your village? He said, we tested 403 today. I said, well, how many had AIDS? 4. He said, and they say, what percentage of AIDS is in Ethiopia? Oh, it's about 15%. I said, mathematically, 3 is less than 1%. But then they'd have another one that would test 400, and there would be 30. So they had like a concentration in that village. But what they were doing is earmarking where the group was and whatever. And some places, I talked to about 10 of these guys up on a thing, and they all talked to me, and only about one village had maybe 10%. Most of them are right around 1%. And this is the lie that's going on, because NGOs make saying that you can't actually test. And I'm going to drink the water. Everybody in Africa brings you regular well water, and you drink it. It's not well water. It's from the thing they carry water, and I drink it because you really don't die from drinking the water. And guess what? The water in Africa is better than the water in Central and South America. 10 times better than Mexico. And because it's in a closed system, it comes from the system to the place where they pick it up. It's the same in India. But you're living under delusions, illusions, and this is what travel does. It takes and removes the illusions. The AIDS in Africa is, for the most part, we got 53 countries, and we got 2 countries that are like South Africa. South Africa's got to be one of the most dangerous places on the planet. Why do people go there? Because they speak English and it's full of rich people. But it's a horrible, dangerous place. Carjacking on the worst on the planet. AIDS the highest on the planet. Why would I want to go to a place like this? To go see rich people living in Africa? That's what they do. They want to go see rich people and try to pretend they're not in Africa. I come to Africa. But AIDS is not a big problem in any of these countries. Guys, wear a condom. You know, I will give you one theory I have on AIDS. And I've thought about it for years. And I want to know how a man gets AIDS. I think what he does is he shaves really good, and he bleeds, and then he gives oral sex to a woman. And you transfer of blood into his skin, because the skin's an organ. And I think that's how the men get AIDS. But they don't talk about it. Nobody will get down to basic. How is this transferred? They act like just don't have sex. And to try to tell people on the planet not to have sex, it's got to be the most stupid thing you can do. Telling people not to be human. Oh, crazy.